Hello, Wonderhussy here, and I'm having a quality problem. Okay, I'm up here off-roading around the mountains in the middle of nowhere, and the hour is growing late. You can see the shadows are getting kind of long, and so that means it's time to start looking for a place to camp, which is exactly what I was in the process of doing. I drove all the way up this squirrely road in this very, very, very desolate part of the country, found two unexpected gems to explore. A really cute little cabin with an amazing view and a really interesting old miner's camp with some old newspapers in it. Well, those were both really cool and more than I expected. And I thought, okay, let me get back in my car and drive back down and find a place to camp for the night. Well, I took a different turn than I took on the way up, and guess what? I stumbled on another cabin. I mean, it's only like an eighth of a mile from the last one I went to. And so even though it's getting late and I need to find a place to camp, well, there's no way I'm not at least going inside to check this one out. This looks like the last cabin I just went into in terms of the fact that it has a deck with an amazing view. Let me show you the view. In case you didn't watch my last video, let's go up the stairs here and look out over this railing into the great unknown void beyond. Okay, now some of you watching this video might actually recognize that view. And if you do, well, please don't say anything in the comments or I'll get my balls cut off by a bunch of angry old dudes, one of whom kind of browbeat me into never, ever, ever saying the name of this valley on the internet. Which is why I'm just calling it the middle of nowhere, which honestly is a very apt descriptor because, golly, like I said in my last video, there is nothing out here anywhere around us for many, many, many miles. Not in that direction, not in that direction, and gosh, not in that direction, or that direction. The only thing over there is my car, and I'm the only goose silly enough to be up here right now. So it's just me with 1,000 miles of nothing in every direction. Okay, maybe not 1,000 miles, but you know what I mean. Okay, this looks like a very well shored up little cabin, so I'm gonna guess it's pretty nice in there. I mean, there's a door with a real fancy handle that appears to be solidly closed, and there's panes in the windows and screens over them, so it looks like you can probably stay in here. There's a stovepipe coming out, so you could stay here in the wintertime too. There's even an extra bed out back in case you have, you know, more people than will fit in here. Let's see. Let's go back on the porch and see what this side looks like. Oh, a big picture window, kind of like at the last cabin I just explored, but no door, so you can't walk out from the cabin onto this deck, but you can look out the window and you'd still have this incredible view. And speaking of this view, it didn't even occur to me when I was on the porch at that last cabin, but golly, you probably get some amazing shows out here. Okay, not just the night skies, which are probably amazing because we're so far from any form of light pollution, but also, I don't know if you heard at the very beginning of this video, you could maybe hear in the background there was an airplane going by, a jet going by. Okay, well, the Navy, I think, or maybe it's the Air Force, I guess it's the Air Force, does low-level flight testing, I don't know, practice, what do you call it? These guys come down through this particular valley right here, the valley that can't be named. It's a designated low-level flight corridor. So these guys from, I think, Edwards Air Force Base come racing through this valley at very low altitude. And oh my gosh, sometimes they come down so low, you can see the pilot in the cockpit. Now, how do I know this? Well, there's a place out here that I've been to a bunch of times. That's all I'm going to say about it. But I've hung out there, camped for days on end, and at that place, these pilots are known to buzz that place. And so as you're hanging out at that place, every now and then you'll hear this really loud noise. You'll look up, oh, and there'll be like this F-16 or whatever whew, coming down real low through the valley. Anyway, all of that was just to say, I bet you anything, sitting on this porch or the porch at that last cabin, you probably get to see some pretty cool aerial acrobatics. You know what I mean? Like, what could be better than sitting on this front deck with your morning coffee, looking out into this beautiful desert valley, and then seeing these giant billion-dollar pieces of technology come. Well, actually, I can think of one thing that would be better than sitting there with my morning coffee, and that would be sitting there with my evening cocktail watching it. But unfortunately, you know, those pilots, they like to get started early. Although I did just hear that one flying by, and it's already like 6:30. So what do I know? Maybe I could sit here. You know, I could camp here tonight. You know, here I am talking about, oh, it's getting late, I need to find a place to camp. Well, what if this cabin is so nice that I don't want to leave? What if I want to move in here? What if I want to stay up here and become the hermit of the secret valley? The hermit of secret valley. Oh, it sounds like a Louis L'Amour novel. Well, the door is locked, but it's just with one of these little hooks. So that's pretty easy to open. A nice door though, look at that. It's an actual door from a real house. Okay, let's open up door number 1 and see what this cabin is all about. Dun, dun, dun! Very tidy. Okay, I just did a quick look around to make sure the name of this cabin isn't written anywhere, because I know how these cabin folk are. The people that take care of these volunteer cabins get very huffy if you publicize the name or the locations on social media. And so I try to be very careful about that in my videos. I never say exactly where I am, but you know, that's not enough for some folks. So anyway, it doesn't look like the name of this cabin is posted in here. Maybe it doesn't even have a name. So we should be good to look around and see what's going on here. Okay, well, starting over by the door, we have a broom and a shovel so you can keep the place clean. There is a wood-burning stove, not really a fireplace, so I guess maybe that shovel is used to shovel out the ashes if you had a fire in here. Well, first of all, if you had a fire in here, this whole place would get real nice and toasty on a winter's day. Oh my gosh, can you imagine how cozy that would be? And you sit right here at this little table, right by this beautiful picture window looking out at that amazing valley, and you could be watching them fighter jets do their thing from inside. Oh, wouldn't that be cozy? Oh man, being up here in winter, I feel like it would be hard to get up here because we're at like over 7,000 feet and this place gets a lot of snow. But if you were able to get up here, what if you got stuck, you got stranded? Say you were off-roading in the mountains in the snow and the snow just got too deep and so you had to come seek shelter in this cabin. How long could you survive in here given the supplies at hand? Well, just looking around, it doesn't look like there's as many supplies in here as there was at the other one. So I'm gonna guess not too long. I mean, you'd have plenty of chairs to sit in and you'd have a beautiful print of the rocky northern coast or the Scottish coast, someplace like that to look at. And you'd have a real nice Chivas, how do you say that? Chivas Regal blended Scotch whiskey thing to look at. And then of course there's plenty of firewood all around so you could stay warm, but as far as food and drink, I don't know, man, you'd be pretty hard up. I mean, it looks like there's some water laid in. Oh, that's empty. That has a tiny bit in it. Oh, that's a full 2-gallon there. Somebody must have just brought that. So you'd have enough water to get by for a bit. I don't know if there's a spring in the area, but there aren't any cans of food laid in at all. Oh, golly. I guess you'd have to resort to hunting. You could go out here and catch all kind of little critters. Rabbits, chipmunks, lizards, snakes. I don't know, whatever you could catch. And then you could bring it back here and cook it in this fire. I don't know. It doesn't sound very appetizing to me. Wow, look at this amazing shelf paper. Oh, and look, plenty of matches. Well, not plenty, but there's at least one book. Oh, look, Fred Meyer. You ever go to a Fred Meyer? They're up in like Oregon, I want to say, maybe Washington State. It's like kind of like a Walmart, but way nicer. Is this an old drum? Or it looks like maybe it's a spool. This was a spool for cable or something, but it's real old. Look at that. Completely carved out of wood. I thought it was a drum. It would actually make a really cool little drum if you stretched animal hide over the ends. But gosh, I don't know. I guess it's just decorative, and it was, maybe they found it up here as part of whatever mining prospect used to be up here. There's some fine reading material. What is this? Icy Clutches by Aaron Elkins. Oh, The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. That's a good one. Remember Grizzly Adams? Wasn't it like a TV show? And wasn't the guy who played Grizzly Adams? I feel like my friend Gina met him at the gun trade show. Dan something, I can't remember his name, but she said it was a real nice guy. In fact, I think she even went to dinner with him. Yeah, there's a still from the TV show. 3 of the stars of the Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. Don Shanks, who played Nakoma. Dan Haggerty, who played Grizzly Adams. Yep, that's him. And Bozo, the bear, played by Ben Franklin. Oh, I guess this bear's name was Ben Franklin. I'm not sure which is a worse name for a bear. Ben Franklin or Bozo? What do I know? It was before my time anyway. Okay, well, there's plenty of reading material here. Zoot Suit Murders. ARRL's General Q&A. Oh, it's upgrade to a general class ham radio license. Oh, so it's like ham radio how-to stuff. Well, that's useful if you have a ham radio. I don't see a ham radio in here anywhere. Oh, Lee, it's frustrating. I can't quite reach to these upper shelves. I'll pull one of these chairs over. I want to see. There might be something good up there. You know, this finally might be where I find that, I don't know, ancient treasure, dead body, I don't know, whatever. I wanted to see what was in this. Oh man, I was expecting something fun, and all it is facts about hantavirus from the CDC. Look, I don't want to get hantavirus any more than anyone else, but I don't want to be reminded of it at every turn, guys. It's like you never want us to have any fun. I'll stick that back there. Oh, and there's like a kerosene lantern. There's a cook pot. There's a cup with some old tea bags or old coffee, instant coffee bags. But that's it, man. There is no food in here. Boy, you would really be up a creek if you were stranded in this cabin. Oh, what are these? It's like a very heavy piece of rubber or something. Interesting. Must come from the old mine. I mean, I'm guessing that's the reason there's all these cabins up here. Is there must have been some kind of mine up here. It's like it's almost like a ghost town up here. This is the 3rd cabin I've been into, and well, there's no telling how many more are hidden up here. Okay, I came up here because I have this one viewer who weirdly lives in Massachusetts, but he likes to go online and he's real good at looking at Google Earth, you know, satellite mode, and he finds all these random structures in the middle of nowhere, and then he sends me the coordinates and like tells me to go check them out. And I appreciate it because I'm cranking out 2 videos a week. I need all the help I can get. And so he'll send me these random coordinates and I'll look at them on the map and, you know, plan my route. And sometimes you look at them and you go, oh gosh, I'm going to drive all the way up that bumpy road and it's just going to turn out to be an old outhouse. And that has happened. Some of the things he sent me turned out to be what we might charitably call a zonk. Okay, if you ever watched Let's Make a Deal, a zonk. I've been to a zonk or 2 in my day, but this ain't no zonk. This guy did me good with this one. Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to close this door because there's not anything else in this cabin to look at, and there's not even a notebook or anything to write your name, which I think is interesting because it's, you know, it's very well maintained. Someone's taking care of this. You know, it's sealed up real good. The windows are good. Somebody went around and found this giant old bullet and these little bits of, oh, look at that. It's obsidian. Isn't that what that is? Yeah, it's like almost looks like an arrowhead, but I think it's just a piece of obsidian. Obsidian breaks off like that. But yeah, so people are coming in here and taking care of this place. And the fact that there's actual curtains, you know, on the window. Somebody's coming in here and putting these hinges on this window. I mean, some of this stuff doesn't look that old. So I just think it's interesting that there's no book to sign your name. Oh, hold on. Boy, good thing I came back in here because I think I missed it. I think there is a book. It looks like it was in a plastic bag, but the plastic bag is completely eaten apart. Oh my gosh, look at the book. This is how all these cabin books should look. You know, leather bound and mysterious. I don't want to open it on camera because it might say the name of the cabin. Oh, okay, yeah, there is a name for this cabin. And this logbook was started in 1999. How about that? Okay, I'm not going to show the name of it, but it looks like the cabin was adopted by Starbuck.org. You guys know Guy Starbuck? He's a fellow explorer. He has a really cool blog. And according to this book, it says him and this other person adopted this cabin. It says, email us and let us know the condition of this cabin. Well, Starbuck, if you're watching this video, you can see the condition of the cabin and it's pretty good. Anyway, yeah, all these cabins should have badass leather bound or fake leather bound books like this for people to sign their names in. Okay, I just looked through the whole book to see if there was anything interesting, and also to see who the last person here was. Looks like somebody was here April 22nd, so just about a month ago. And interestingly, there were people at that other cabin even more recently than that. So I'll bet you anything there's some people who come up here and go to that other cabin and don't even know this is here. Just like me, if I hadn't taken that wrong turn. So anyway, yeah, I went ahead and just wrote, stumbled on this place by accident. What a treat. So many cool structures nearby too. Smiley face. Signed, Random Wanderer. I put that because I didn't want to write my name or Wonderhussy, because then some hater would just say something negative about me, which I think is ironic considering, look who else signed their name in here. Where is it? Oh, here. Back in August of 23, came to check out the area, Brent Underwood from Cerro Gordo. Okay, you know the guy from Ghost Town Living, the guy who bought Cerro Gordo Ghost Town, which I guess isn't that far from here as the crow flies. I hate to think how long it took him to drive or hike out here, but anyway, you don't see anyone writing anything bad about him, so if he got a pass, well, maybe I would too, but somehow I doubt it. So I'm just gonna be Random Wanderer. Let's see, what else did I mark in here? I feel like I saw a couple other things. Oh, this one was cute. This guy, Desert Drifter, he wrote a long entry, but at the end it just says, Mom, I miss you. Love, your son, Joel. Oh, I love that. That is so sweet. I wonder if that's the same guy. Isn't there a Desert Drifter who has a YouTube channel? Oh, look at this one. This guy actually has some information. The first cabin you pass was built and maintained by my great uncle Roy, or Red, Braden. He and his wife Dell would mine and prospect in these areas. Most of the claims were in his wife's name. This claim was dubbed Dell number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Roy and Dell both lived in Big Pine. Roy has a very colorful past. He was known for walking around town with his Colt 45 on his hip. Someone wrote a blog about him. I can't remember the webpage. The old truck cab was Roy's old truck. I'm unsure who built this cabin, number 2, but the third cabin was said to belong to an old man named Doc. The wood and rocks on the north end of the lake are remnants of old Spanish outposts. Native Indians also stayed here. There used to be rock circles indicating where their teepees were. Wow, that is so cool. Now we know. If you watched my first video that I made at this location, I found that old truck cab. Well, apparently that used to belong to a guy named Red Braden. How about that? I'm not sure what he's talking about with this lake, though, because there's no lake anywhere around here as far as I know. I mean, there was a meadow that I drove through. Maybe that used to be a lake and it dried up. Oh, dang, look at this entry. Some guy just wrote, Where's Wonderhussy? Some guy named Frank, back in May of 21. Well, Frank, I'm right here. I'm just afraid to write my name in the damn book. Oh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be a wuss. I'll write underneath it. Let me see. I'll just write here. 5/24. I'll just go WH. Not like no one's gonna know what that stands for, but well, right on. So I can't tell if he was being snarky or what with that, but Frank, if you wrote this in good faith, thanks for thinking of me, and I am super glad I finally made it up here. Oh, here's one more entry that I thought was kind of interesting. This guy from Eureka, California, Veterans for Peace, Humboldt Bay Chapter 56. Veterans for Peace Golden Rule Project, VFPGoldenRuleProject.org. Check it out. Abolish nuclear weapons, abolish war, wage peace. Wow, I'm gonna have to look up this VFP Golden Rule Project. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I try to live my life by the golden rule, you know, do unto others as you would have done unto you. It's pretty simple, and it seems like if everybody would just live by that, the world would be a better place. But apparently, it's just too much for some people. Okay, well, I can't really put this book back in the bag because the bag is totally disintegrated. But I can at least tuck it back in here. Yeah. Like the way it was when I got here. And at least it's somewhat protected now. Boy, I sure am glad I came back in here for one more peek, because I wouldn't have even seen that book. I wouldn't have known that Brent from Cerro Gordo had been here. And I wouldn't have known that some guy named Frank was thinking of me 3 years ago. Okay, golly, that book said there were 4 claims up here. So that makes me wonder where the 4th one is. You know, in my first video that I did up here, I went to that really busted old prospectors camp, which I guess might have been claim number 1. And then I went to that amazing cabin with the overlook. That would have been number 2. Well, this is number 3. That means there must be one more cabin up here somewhere. Oh, it's already almost 7 o'clock. I gotta find a place to camp, and I don't really want to camp at this cabin on the slim off chance that some dude rolls up in the middle of the night or early in the morning to come check it out. You know, I want my privacy. So I was going to keep driving and look for a place to camp anyway. I suppose I could just nose around a little bit more and see if I can find mystery cabin number 4. Oh, what's that? It's not another cabin, but it is something man-made, and it looks pretty interesting. Wow, what is this? It almost looks like an old furnace or smelter or something. I mean, wouldn't you have built a fire in here? Gosh, I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I just sort of thought because of the way it's obviously built by man, because there's like cement or something, quickcrete in the cracks of all these stones, and then this piece of wood with this mesh. The mesh made me think that it was some kind of fire pit, but golly, it's just completely full to the top with gravel and rocks and stuff, so who knows what it used to be. Golly, your guess is as good as mine. Any ideas? Put them in the comments below. Anyway, well, I don't have that much daylight left, and I really do need to make camp. My plan was to drive down out of this area. I'm actually on another mission, okay? I'm trying to go to another place that's, golly, probably another 30 miles from here on a very rough road. And so I want to bang that out tomorrow. And it's going to be a lot of driving. So I need to make camp and get a good night's sleep. And I was going to try to drive back down to the main road and camp someplace just off the main road. So that way I'd be closer to where I'm going tomorrow. But because the light is so low right now and I really don't want to be driving directly into the sun on these bumpy roads, I think I'm just going to camp up here. I mean, there's this beautiful meadow, high mountain meadow, which is absolutely amazing to me, that way up here in these godforsaken desert mountains, there could be this beautiful, lush, grassy meadow. But then again, we are at over 7,000 feet, so I guess there's probably grass up here all summer long. Look at that. We can see the roof of one of the cabins I explored in the first video I made up here. So yeah, I feel like this beautiful meadow will be a fine place to camp. And yeah, sure, I'm a little bit bummed that I didn't find prospect number 4, unless whatever that thing over there is prospect number 4. But you know what? I guess it's okay. I wouldn't want these mountains to give up all their secrets on one visit. You know, then I wouldn't have any reason to come back again. Well, actually, I do have plenty of reason to come back to this area, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. I'm going to stop yakking and set up camp and enjoy my peaceful night way up here in this lonely meadow in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by old mining claims.